right, guys, so we're down here over by all the weights, and we're just going to go ahead and dive into a couple of do's and don'ts when it comes to key exercises for you guys. We're going to start out just chatting a little bit about bench press and elbow positioning. Jason, if you want to take it from here.
Yeah, so, and this pertains to the bench press, but really any kind of horizontal type pressing you're doing, whether it's an incline, even push-ups or anything like that. So, so one of the big things, you know, we will use a barbell on the bench press, and again, I don't think it's detrimental to a throwing athlete, unless you already you're predisposed to some type of injury. Then obviously you want to find a different way to do it.
For sure.
But the reason that we like it is, again, you're only controlling one implement as compared to two different dumbbells.
Yep.
The barbell physically stops you from going too low, and we can load it up a little bit better than we can with dumbbells. Now, I'm not saying that we don't use dumbbells, but if I have a healthy athlete that can bench, then we're gonna use the bench. Again, I don't force them to do it.
Yeah.
If they're uncomfortable with it, or obviously if there's any pain, discomfort, we're gonna do something else.
Yeah.
But what I want to talk about mainly is shoulder position. So if I have you stand and I hold that arm parallel to the floor, basically I would call that 90 degrees, right? That's a 90-degree angle, give or take-ish, right? So when I'm up here, if I'm pushing on that hand, that AC joint and where the humerus comes in here are at a kind of a weak position.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I call this a 0, all right, pretty strong position here for that humerus in that shoulder socket.
For sure.
So I don't, bring out the protractor and say you have to be exactly at 45 degrees.
Yeah.
But I want you to be greater than 0 and less than 90 when you go ahead and get in there and bench.
Yeah. So anywhere in this window, really.
Yep. So and it becomes a matter of comfort, right? If a kid's like, hey, this doesn't feel right, well, go ahead and move it up, down. You got to explore a little bit and figure it out. And again, if they have a problem with it, then we'll just move them on to something else.
See, guys, geometry is important. Pay attention.
It's just, again, bench press, barbell. It's another tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
Okay?
Awesome.
So if you want to go ahead, we can kind of show you what we're going to do here. So the other things we do talk about with the bench press is we basically talk about 5 points of contact. Okay? So we want their head, shoulders, hips, both feet firmly on the floor.
Yep.
Okay, you'll see a lot of times you get kids that'll shoot those hips up.
Right.
And I think another key point with the bench press that a lot of people don't get is that bench press is going to be a total body exercise. You're using your legs when you bench. So one of the other key things that I tell kids is instead of pushing your feet down into the floor, we want to think about sliding this platform across the room. So instead of pushing my foot down and lifting my hips, I want to think push the platform across the room.
That makes
so
sense.
what I'd have them do is go ahead and get set up. We want to make sure too that, so where your eyebrows are right now, you're probably 10 inches behind the bar.
Yep.
I want you to slide down that way a little bit more so your eyebrows are right under the barbell.
Got it.
And it's a much better, easier perspective for me, right? Because right now I'd say that's even with your mouth. So I'm going to have you slide down even a little bit more. All right, and the reason we put them down there is so that when you're working your tail off, trying to get a set, we're not going to hit the J-hooks on the way up. We always want to make sure somebody's spotting regardless of how much weight we're using.
Yeah.
So they're going to go ahead and get your hands up there so they're nice and even. Okay, so he may need a lift off. I think you can handle this, but he's going to go ahead and bring it up. And we have them go all the way down. So you're going to touch your chest, and then he's going to drive it right back up. Yep, that's it right there. Okay, and the other thing too, a lot of people think it's a linear exercise where I'm pushing that bar straight up, and actually there's a bit of an arc to it. So you're gonna go down and then push back towards me a little bit. There you go, right there. That's it.
I think breathing is a big piece of that too. Make sure you're exhaling as you're pushing, inhaling as you go down.
Yeah, so, well, we can talk more about that in a minute. So the other thing as a spotter, really, I wanna just make sure, my main job is to make sure you get it back in those hooks.
Yeah.
Okay, safely.
Yeah.
So breathing is we're going to use that a little bit different in some of the things we use. So you've heard of the Valsalva maneuver, right? Where I hold my breath. We're going to actually use that to our advantage a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of serves as like nature's belt, right?
Yeah.
That's going to help us support our spine. So squatting, for example, we're going to have an athlete hold their breath to help support that spine, and they're not going to breathe out that breath until they actually finish the rep.
Got it.
All right, so it's all about kind of keeping that spine happy and supported.
Yeah.
So we'll use it differently on different exercises.
You know, a lot of young guys, they hold their breath the whole time.
Well,
they're
yeah,
not
that's
replacing
not
that oxygen. You can see their face turning red.
Yeah,
as,
you got to breathe.
get
You
your
got to
third breath
breathe, but I
in.
think breathing at the right time is
Agreed.
what's important.
Definitely. Jason, thanks again for your time, for the awesome advice for these guys. I think you gave a ton of coaching points and tips that they can follow at home. And we appreciate your time. Thank you for having us here today.
Hey, thanks, Josh. I really appreciate you guys coming, and start training, no doubt.
No doubt.
Oh, get out of here!
I love it.